and live a type of life that becomes rewarding and enjoyable for me. You'll just be out doing a normal thing, but your mind's thinking about the 100 other things you need. Music definitely helps with motivation a lot of the time. So I have ADHD and I don't use any medication. Like, lots of people have different reasons for wanting to use medication. But maybe one of the reasons you don't use medication is because, well, you don't want to feel like you're not being yourself anymore. It sort of alters things in your mind, and maybe you feel like you'd lose a bit of your personality, and that's fair enough. That's understandable. And it's the same with many things in life. There's alternative ways to try and beat things, and like sometimes it's impossible, but I'm the kind of person that if I've got a sore back, I try and sleep differently, go to the gym. If I feel a bit overweight, I eat a bit less food. If I've got a sore head, I drink some water. I'm just that kind of person, I always have been. And this is the same with my ADHD. I've tried to sort of analyse what makes ADHD worse, and I avoid those things. And then what can sort of improve my life, I make sure I do those things actively. So certainly with ADHD, what do we know about it? And just to clarify, I'm no medical professional. What does ADHD do? Well, for me, my main issue with ADHD, all the overthinking and sensitivity rejection aside, I do feel like the biggest trigger for it is fast dopamine. I feel like if I live a life where I latch on to fast dopamine hits, because people with ADHD are naturally low in dopamine, and our dopamine response works a bit differently. I feel like because of this, I need to avoid things that give me fast hit dopamine. So I don't have coffees too early on in the day. I don't eat fast, sugary foods. I find these just sort of chill me out and almost make me a bit lazy, because I feel so satisfied in eating them. I sort of chill out and relax, and it makes me really unproductive. The same goes with entertainment, scrolling on my phone, social media and things like that. I absolutely avoid these things at the beginning of the day, because I do find that it just seems to make me not want to do anything else. It's a really, really strange sensation, but as soon as you get into that cycle of being in the morning, eating some rubbish food, hitting all your dopamine with Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that, I just find I become a bit lazy. So yeah, living with ADHD, you're basically on a constant hunt for dopamine, fast hitting dopamine. And I mean, this can be simple as you wake up and you start getting into a WhatsApp argument, or scanning the Instagram comment section to get a buzz out of arguing and debating with people. But the reality is, what this is doing is it's making you a bit frustrated. It's not a good use of your own personal time. So with all of this in mind, about how my mind and body is seeking dopamine and realising what it does to me, it sort of slows me down a bit, makes me feel satisfied. Like waking up and scrolling on the phone and having a sugary breakfast is not satisfaction. It's not a way to live your life. And the reality is, this embeds in the back of your mind. And I know it's bad for me. I know it's unproductive. I know it's no use to having a nourishing life. So I absolutely must avoid these things. And slowly your brain learns what other things you can enjoy. There might be the type of dopamine that's a bit more difficult to actually get, like going out of walk, like enjoying a view, being out with the dog, just sitting in the moment. Slowly you start to learn and enjoy these things. So this is the way my brain's wired at the moment. But look, it's a constant battle. Every single day I must actively dodge fast, hard-hitting dopamine. But I definitely feel like if we go back to a few years ago with diagnosis of ADHD, now living my life in this strict anti-dopamine manner, I can find myself being very, very productive. And the good thing is, if you can avoid all of these things at the beginning of the day, throughout the early afternoon, then your brain learns that, well, the reward's coming. I'm going to have a coffee now, I'm going to have something to eat, I'm going to look at my phone, watch some television. Then you start to get to wired realising if you have a productive morning, you'll get your dopamine later in the day. And living with ADHD can be like your superpower. If you manage to sort of sort yourself out, there's lots of benefits to ADHD. You can get hyper focus. A lot of successful entrepreneurs and inventors and people with imaginative minds, creative minds, can be very, very successful with ADHD. So I'm not wanting to just completely switch this off with some medication. I do want to see if I can manage my symptoms myself and live a type of life that becomes rewarding and enjoyable for me. And I would definitely say I'm at that stage now. I enjoy 99% of my days, like really enjoy them. But it's because I'm remaining extremely strict with everything I do. Like I get up in the morning and I must ensure my place is tidy. I must ensure I'm on top of certain aspects of my work. And I've got to make sure that I dodge the phone and get out as early as possible and do something like a walk or exercise, spend time with the dog. If I do these, and these are non-negotiables, and it is difficult to do them every day, but if I do these, I find that my mind becomes less busy because they're not in the back of my mind. With ADHD, you overthink all the time. You're always analysing things that you need to do. And with ADHD, if you're living with ADHD and you do have things to do like tidying, or you know you've got to go out and do some exercise, or you know you've got some work to do, they do bug you in the back of your mind. They do affect you. You can't switch off from it. You're not like some people that can have things to do but then enjoy doing something else. These things can grind you down, and they can be so simple and trivial sometimes, or they can be major things. You'll just be out doing a normal thing, but your mind's thinking about the 100 other things you need to do. So if you keep very well constructed in the morning and keep this strict, it removes a lot of these from your mind. Because you're like, oh, I've got oh wait, no, I don't have the tidying to do. Oh, I've got this work, oh no, wait, no, I don't have work to do. You rewire it all, and if you work hard at this, you start to be able to just sit down and enjoy the moment. Something I've really struggled with ADHD is just enjoying the moment, having the mind present of where you are at that moment in time, rather than it wandering and worrying and thinking about other things. So now it's like you're probably thinking, how do I get motivated? How do I get up? Well, like I said, you sort of train your brain to learn that if you do these things, you can sort of get rewarded later. However, there is small things I do, that if I need a bit of boost or momentum to get up and do a certain thing, like tidying the house, music is a very good one. Look, if you like dance music or hard techno, this is pretty easy to get motivated. You stick this on, your brain reacts to it, you feel like you're getting up, moving about, then you tidy your house to the beat. I find this very, very useful. And that's the same for being active, going to the gym. Music definitely helps with motivation a lot of the time. So find your tune, find your music that gives you a bit of a buzz. Because people with ADHD react very well to this. Look, you've probably been in social environments and then one good song completely changes your mood. You go from sort of being a bit quiet and anxious to being right up for the party. So music for me definitely works. Food rewards as well are very good. I do find that I do intermittent fasting, so my mornings I'm not eating any food, not taking any sugar in that, but every day I've got this sort of reward thing where like by lunchtime, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'm thinking I am ready to eat. And having this every day as well is sort of good for my gut health. It's good for keeping the weight off, but it's also just good for the way my brain's wired. You know, it's like, hey, if you have a productive morning, you can have a big eat very, very soon. So music, food, and then also just try and stay out of meaningless sort of interactions and conversations. I keep away from the digital world a lot. I don't do any digital dating or anything like that. And I definitely try and keep out of comment sections, WhatsApp groups. I find that, especially with digital dating, there's a lot of dopamine in that. You've got the likes, the swiping, people interacting with you, all the messages coming through, all the notifications. You can become a bit message notification dependent if you've got ADHD. It triggers a dopamine response, you feel good about it, but the reality is it's not good for you. It's not something that will be constructive to your life. Unless of course you meet your soulmate, but look, how many people does that happen to, you know? These places are a place for rejection. So yeah, all of this considered, what does my routine actually look like? Well, I wake up in the morning and I need to get up and do something immediately. So often this is sort of getting the previous day's mess tidied up. With ADHD, you're really bad at actively tidying things. I just do it as like a bulk thing in the morning, so I stick some music on and then I start putting everything in the bin, wipe down all the surfaces with a brush to get the crumbs off, then I wipe it with a spray and a cloth and stick everything I need to get ready for the wash, soaking it in the sink straight away. Within 5 to 10 minutes you have got a very sort of tidy workplace, and of course as soon as you've done that, this makes you feel like you can work and you can start getting on with your day because it's not in the back of your mind. The next thing, again difficult with ADHD because there's no dopamine release from many of these things. Your brain's trying to actively avoid it, but because you've not hit any dopamine yet from your phone, you do feel more up for doing these things. So with the place tidied, you then need to tidy yourself, and I sort of have a little method for doing this. So I sit on the toilet while I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth sitting in the toilet at the same time. I do the teeth before I get in the shower, and then I'll maybe tidy up my beard while the shower's running, and then I'll get in the shower, quickly do the body, do the hair, dry myself off, stick some fresh clothes on, and bang, we're done. When it comes to keeping on top of the likes of doing my actual washing and things like that, I don't make this any more difficult than it has to be by separating loads of different types of clothing and using loads of different types of washing stuff. If all my clothes are old enough, dye's not running off them, I shove everything in a mix wash and make this as simple as possible. Also, I don't have a lot of washing, I'm a single guy. Whites, colours, blacks, darks, whatever you want to call them, softs, hards, all in the same wash, bang. Done in an hour, get it hung out. Within an hour and a half of every day, my place is tidy and clean and I'm on top of my washing and things like that. Just do this every day and that gets me ready for it. And then it's time to start thinking about what I need to do for the day. If it's a bit of work, I'm starting to get that organised and ready. But I'm on top of things. I've done all the mundane, horrible tasks that you don't feel like doing, and to be honest, your brain's like, why do I need to tidy up my place every day? But you've got it done, it's out of your mind. Now you can get on with work. But exercise is a very important and big one. I do think having a dog helps me a lot, because the dog guilt trips you a bit. If you love your dog, you want to get him out, he's looking at you like, please take me out. So having a dog definitely helps give me the motivation to get out every single day on a really good walk. Luckily where I live, this involves the beach, swimming in the sea. It's really active and healthy. I'm getting loads of vitamin D as well. Vitamin D, of course, is going to boost your mood and your spirits. You're out in the sun, fresh morning vitamin D on your skin, very, very good for you. So all this sort of rolls in and my days become very good. And of course, if you do have a bad day, it doesn't matter. The week before it were very good. And then slowly your brain starts to change and realise, but look, it is a battle every day. ADHD, living with ADHD is difficult because none of these things become autonomous. Actively tidying doesn't become autonomous. Your hygiene doesn't become autonomous like a neurotypical person. Every time you go to do it, you're thinking about how much of a nuisance it is. Your brain's actively fighting you just to get the quick dopamine hits. So that gives you a bit of insight as to what my day is structured like, the reasoning behind it, and how it actually does help me.